Alright guys, hey, welcome back to whatever you want to call this. I heard a few minutes and I wanted to just do on what I said. I was like, I know I asked a few people who would be interested in just watching a video of me talking about my road to recovery. So I'm gonna keep it. I didn't write anything down. It's off the top of my head. I just want to keep it super transparent for you guys. Just keep it super honest, and this is me. So I'm just gonna show you guys, or just share with you guys. I will, however, do this in a couple of parts, just because I don't want to create a 30-minute video, because I wouldn't be able to sit through a 30-minute video myself. So I'm not gonna ask you guys to, but. So today, as of today, I am 27. In about 3 days, I will be 28. Okay, probably by the time I get this video out, I'll be 28 because I'm kind of bad about that. But anyways, so and it's just the reason I'm telling you this, so you get a little bit of perspective and see how long this has kind of been happening, right? So I'm gonna start just where it started. It just started. I started drinking in like high school, guys, at 16. Maybe 17, somewhere around there. I feel like it was closer to 16, just because I was started young, right? And it started innocent, just like a lot of things, guys. It started innocent, like just drinking. I was saying with friends, I wanted to try it, and then it became a thing, right? Like you just went out with your friends. I grew up in a city where partying was pretty normal, like everybody did it. You either didn't or you did, right? Like there was nothing else to do, and yeah, that was it. I mean. I started that way, and I thought it was completely normal, just because, and it's not blaming anybody. This is not to blame family or anything, but I saw, my family do it. I just saw other people do it. I saw a lot of people doing it, so that's who I was influenced by, right? Just why I thought it was okay. And this is also to shed light on why I don't speak about it a lot. And I'll go about that later, right? I'll go into that thought later. So started super young, and just did it. Like I said, it started really casual. Just started drinking on the weekends whenever I got a chance, because that was fun or whatever, right? I thought I was having fun. I mean, I was. I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was. And it started off. It was just friends doing that. I was a little rebellious growing up, so I did it to rebel because I wanted to be. I don't know, whatever, the angst or whatever. And so that went on for a few years. It progressively grew a little bit more as the years got by, because I got a little better at doing it, or whatever you want to call it. I got a little more lenient. I worked in the service industry, so I knew a lot of people in the service industry, and it was kind of a small town, so if somebody worked somewhere else, I could get into places without being carded, and like I was progressively learning the ropes, right, I guess you could call it. And who knows? I mean, it went on for a while, until I got introduced to a certain substance that really complements alcohol really well, and that was maybe a couple of years later. So I already had been doing it a little bit, and and now that I think back in like retrospect, I should have known it was gonna be a problem, because even back then, like I was never a drinker, like a casual, like I'm gonna have a few beers, get a tiny buzz, and I'm gonna call it quits. Like I was a go hard or go home kind of kid, right? So it was always to the point where I was getting drunk, right? I never did it just to get a buzz. It was always an excess. So when I think back about it, I was like, of course I should have known, like that kind of kid. And then I want to say about 18 maybe, I think, is when I got introduced to that substance. And it was super, it was all super innocent. Like the people who introduced it to me weren't all like, oh, I mean to get you hooked or anything like that. It was all just super innocent. It was just, the thing to do. And I don't blame anybody for it, right? I don't blame anybody for what I decided to take on, because sure, they might have introduced it to me, but I took it to a wholly different level, right? So that was all me. And so I got to the point where I was, I got into the lifestyle of it, And then I started making friends with people who were also in that sort of lifestyle. So, you know, it just became more ready, more available. It was okay to do, and so on and so forth. And like, it just became progressively worse, right? So, so a few years of this, right? And then it got introduced to substance. And then what happened is, during those times until about 20, those 2 or 3 years, 21, what was happening is I was like, I never had anxiety before, okay? Like, I'd never experienced it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. Like, I didn't know. And so I had my first anxiety attack. I was a server at a restaurant. You know, if you're a server at a restaurant, you can, you carry trays, heavy trays, a lot of food, drinks, and stuff like that. And it's no problem, right? It becomes like secondary, and you just pick it up and go, and it's fine, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. And so, like, I was doing my job, and I remember my very first anxiety attack, because I was serving. I was picking up a tray. I had picked up a tray. It was filled with stuff, right? Like a big ass tray filled with stuff. And if you guys have ever had an anxiety attack, you feel like you're going to lose control of your whole body. You don't have control of it anymore. You're gonna pass out. Your breathing gets rapid, so you're like panicky, and so on and so forth. So I remember I picked it up, and you know what's funny? For anybody that doesn't know what an anxiety attack looks like, it doesn't look like anything, because it doesn't show. So I picked up the tray, and I had a straight face, but everything inside my mind, my body was going like I was gonna let go, like it was all just gonna fall, right? But nobody saw it in my face, like nobody even knew, right? So be kind to those people who say they have anxiety, or do have anxiety attacks, because it doesn't always look like anything on the surface. It's all in here, of course, right? But a lot of what's going on in here is what controls the rest of it, right? Because people say it's all in your head. Of course it's in my head. That's what controls me walking. That's what controls my movements. Like, don't say, I'm sorry. It's just, people don't think it's real. People think it's an excuse. I've met people like that, and if you have anxiety and you know how crippling it can be, I feel for you, because it's completely and utterly real. It's like I said, it's crippling, and I feel for you. And so don't let anybody tell you that it's not real. Like, it's all in your head to calm down, because that, like I said, they might not even know it's happening. Anyway, so I was able to get the tray down. I don't know how, and I just remember I was horrified. I was terrified, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was busy. It was a busy night. I couldn't just be like, hey, I'm out, because I had an anxiety attack, right? Because eventually, it subsides and you're fine. But it was terrible. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because I truly, genuinely believe that anxiety, like, there is drug-induced or alcohol, like, addiction-induced anxiety. Like, that is something you will have anxiety if you are addicted to something, because it becomes part of your brain. Your brain, the way it functions, brain function, and you're chemically in your brain, you're imbalanced if you're starting to take drugs and do things habitually, and it becomes part of your routine, right? So now what I would say is, it starts to become withdrawals, right? Very mild symptoms of withdrawals, which is anxiety. So I never had it until I started doing all this, right? So that happened, and like I said, that's where it started to progressively get worse, because now what was starting to happen is I would have anxiety, and the only way I could get rid of my anxiety was to drink. So it became a vicious cycle. And it was just, for anybody who's out there who's suffering through addiction right now, I just want you to know that you can beat it. I will elaborate more in the next couple of videos, or maybe next one, because like I said, I don't want to keep it too long, on how I did it. And I didn't do it through normal methods like most people do. And that's just because sometimes the normal things that everybody does doesn't always work for everybody, right? There's no cookie cutter way. Everybody's got a different thing going on in their head. Everybody's in a different place. Everybody's different. So there's no cookie cutter way to beat it, but I can just share my journey and hopefully to help you. This will probably be it. Like I said, let's stop the story at like I was like 20, 21, and I was battling my anxiety with more alcohol and still doing the other substance. And if you don't know what a substance I'm talking about, I'm sure you have to figure it out. If you don't, then just message me, I guess. If you're really that curious, or ask somebody that probably knows. And so we'll stop there about 2021. Like I said, just battling that battle between being anxious, having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and drinking to, not have them. Right, so we'll stop it there. I'll explain more next video. Thanks for listening, guys. And I hope you have a wonderful day when you're watching this, or night, or whenever you're watching this. I love you, and if you're watching this, thank you, first of all. Thanks. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right, peace. Peace, peace, peace.